Good morning, Yellow World.
And welcome back. My name is Botticelli.
And I'm Donatello.
And welcome to today's experience.
Yellow Line in Drop-In Sculpt specifically is an immersive art experience intended for kids ages 6 to 13.
Yes, where they can do creative things at home. We're looking for kids who are
bold,
imaginative,
and expressive.
Yes, especially expressive.
Especially expressive. And today's story is Beautiful Botanical.
Yes.
What do we do in Beautiful Botanical?
Well, we get immersive with the natural world around us. Here at the Yellow Line, we know that to be a creative artist, you need to both see, smell, and hear the world around you so that you can make a project where we can see the world of nature through your eyes.
So, what are we going to need for this project?
Well, that's very interesting, but I think we're going to hit that after the commercial break.
Oh, of course.
And we're back.
So, for today's project, you're going to need a couple of things.
Yes. First, you're going to need some sketch paper and some watercolor paper. Then, you're going to need some
watercolor paint.
And with that always comes
paintbrushes and water.
Yes, you can use any old cup for your water. Very important.
Well, we're going to need any pencils.
Oh, I think we're definitely going to need a pencil.
And with pencils come erasers.
Precisely.
Specifically maybe yellow line erasers.
You know, if you happen to have them lying around. You also might want to grab yourself a co-anchor.
Co-anchor.
A magnifying glass, or you could even use the camera on your phone. Little known fact.
And a paper bag to collect all of your beautiful botanicals.
You might also want to grab some sunscreen, some bug spray.
Maybe a hat.
Maybe a hat. And in these times, you might want to grab yourself a mask. And some hand sanitizer as well. So where are we going to set up this project? I mean, I know we're going to be in the natural world, of course, but where else?
Well, you want to make sure you check with your family, your parents specifically, where you can get a little messy into this project.
We need to set up your broadcasting studio. So you're going to want to get yourself a place, maybe some nice outdoor natural light. A window is great.
You'll have to set up your on-air sign, of course.
Yes, you got to make sure that nobody comes in while you're working.
Of course, you're broadcasting.
You're broadcasting.
You're live.
You're live. And so, yeah, your parents might have helped you set up the studio, but
kick them out. They're not the producers.
Kick them
You're
out.
the producer, cameraman,
cameraman, and anchor all at the same time.
It's amazing.
It's amazing what you can do.
So
the possibilities
are endless.
Yes.
Of course. So, after this next commercial break, we'll get started on this project with step 1.
Okay, so the first story we have for you this evening is...
This just in. You might also need a black pen for this project. I just got heard news. Yes.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine what we would do if we hadn't known that.
It would have been terrible.
It would have been terrible. All right, so you're going to want to get your pencil, your paper, and your black pen, and have a look at everything. Make sure that you're situated. Then, before heading outside, you're going to want to put on your sunscreen, get your hat, grab your friend, if you have one, you know, very important, very important. And then you're going to want to head outside.
What are we looking for when we go outside?
Well, believe it or not, we are looking for beautiful botanicals. So, botanicals are living things that spark your interest, your imagination, your creativity. And this first story is all about focusing on what you see and what you hear.
So, I might see a hydrangea.
Right.
I might hear a bird call.
I think you might. It's certainly possible.
Very possible. So, after that, are we supposed to collect them? What do we do? How do you collect sound?
What a great question. Thank you very much. So you have your paper in front of you. And you, in this moment, are kind of like an investigative journalist. You have to investigate the world around you. So if you hear a bird sound...
You're reporting in the field.
You're reporting in the field. So if you hear a bird call, you might want to write down what it sounds like. Or write down where you heard it from. Or if you make a drawing of that bird, you could even include the sound that it makes.
You could draw how it makes you feel.
You could draw how it makes you feel.
Okay.
It's important to also take field notes. In this way, you really are kind of a reporter because you're going to have your drawings but you're also going to have notes about the world around you.
Okay, sounds good.
Notice the lines.
The lines, the light.
The light.
Yes.
The sounds. Does the wind like rush upon your face? Maybe if you're feeling creative on your paper, you could get a little bit of dirt and give yourself a little sample. This is all about what you see and what you hear. So get yourself your paper, take your notes, do some sketches of 5 to 10 botanicals around you.
Botanicals around you, okay.
And once you've done that, come back for story number 2, where we dive a little bit deeper. And welcome back.
Welcome back.
It looks like the outside world really rejuvenated you, Donatello.
Of course. So, I have some more breaking news.
Please do tell.
After you do your 5 to 6 sketches, you want to collect some of the flowers that you see.
What were some of your sketches like?
Well, I drew it dark so you could see.
Very nice.
I drew part of a hydrangea, and I don't know if you can see it, but I heard some tweeting. I heard some very crisp tweeting, but I also heard some cursive tweeting, so I wrote it in cursive.
Very nice to do.
Yes.
So what I have is I have some of the different leaves that I observed. I have a flower, and then I have these circles which highlight the textures of both the flower petals and the center of the flower, which is always important to kind of give a zoomed in, detailed account. I also wrote down some of the things that I heard in that natural world.
What did you hear?
I heard, what about 20 seconds?
Oh,
I don't know what that's from, but it's what I heard.
Interesting.
Precisely. It's always important to get quotes from your sources.
Yes.
Very key.
Yes, and you have to make sure you cite your sources though, too.
Yes, my source is nature.
Nature. Nature is a good source. So,
nature is a great source. So,
after doing all that,
procure your baggie. Now, this is an authentic plastic baggie. Very important.
You can also use paper.
You can also use paper or any kind of baggie.
Yeah.
Yes. This, reuse it many times if you're going to use plastic. And what do we do with these bags?
So, like I did, you want to collect some of your beautiful botanicals. Make sure, though, that either they're from nature and is free to use, or collect some of your own flowers. Don't steal other people's flowers.
You don't want to take other people's things. For example, if I were to reach over here.
Excuse me, ma'am. Those are my flowers.
I'm so sorry.
It would be a scandal.
No, exactly. It would be breaking news. It would be on the crime report, and we don't want that.
So, once you have your flowers, what do you do with them?
Well, you're going to want to take them back, and before you do anything else, you're going to want to wash up your hands because you've been outside touching things.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome.
Now, after you've removed your mask, finished your hand sanitizer,
or hand wash.
Or hand washing, what do?
You're going to want to take your baggie, you're going to want to take it to your recording studio or your art studio, and you're going to want to lay everything out on the table so that you see what you got.
And once you do that, take your magnifying glass or your cell phone camera.
They both work.
Zoom in onto your flowers, your botanicals.
Zoom in? This reminds me of something. I can't quite remember what.
Zoom in. Zoom out?
I don't know.
Anyway, once you zoom in, you want to place them and start drawing what you see in the size that you see it. Now, when we show you ours are going to be enlarged so that you can see. But for you, draw it life-sized as you see. You want to draw the textures, the colors, the shapes.
I mean, you can't really draw colors quite yet, but it is important to note what colors you want to use for future reference. And you can... Thank you. Do you need another close-up?
Yeah, so I was just thinking, many flowers have shapes. You might have circles, ovals, and if I was going to zoom in on Botticelli's head, I might draw a square, you know?
Is an unstable work environment. I don't know if I can work at this studio anymore.
After you finish drawing your flowers, come back to us and we'll tell you the next step. So, now that you've done a practice of your close-ups, do it for realsies this time.
We always love doing something for realsies. So grab your watercolor paper, and you're going to take that sketch that you just did, that's zoomed in, that's up close, and you're going to put it on your watercolor paper. Now, remember to make sure that your pencil strokes are really light, because we're going to paint watercolor over it later.
Don't choke your pencil, hold it in the back.
Hold it in the back.
Go slow.
Yes. And you're going to want to just get yourself an outline. It's okay if you have like we said, notes and commentaries, that's completely fine. That kind of increases the level of your artwork. If you want to do little bubbles where you have zoomed in textures and things, that really helps.
I like that.
So fun.
We are going to, ours are much larger than yours will be, just so you can see it, and we're making ours very dark.
What did you do yours of?
I did mine of this beautiful dark red little flower I found outside.
Oh wow.
What did you do yours of?
I did mine of this kind of like auburn kind of fall tone.
Oh yeah, let's say our colors are very fall-y.
Ooh, very interesting. That is a very technical broadcasting
Yes.
term.
Fall-y. Yes,
You
it's
know.
very technical. I only use the most smartest of all languages.
Oh yes, your jargon is quite
Jargon?
type of phrase.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, what do they do once they're done drawing on the watercolor paper?
Well, I think that's the next step. So we're gonna see them after the commercial break.
Okay. Welcome back. So, now that they have finished drawing their flowers on their watercolor paper,
What do you
what's
think comes next?
Well,
I would imagine it would be
it is watercolor
watercolor.
paper, so watercolor.
very smart thinking, Donatello.
Thank you.
You are always ahead of the game, even if your nose is so bulbous.
Okay, so for this project, well, usually you can have lots of creative license. Because we are drawing beautiful botanicals from nature,
Right.
are we supposed to stick to the more natural colors of what they actually are?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could get expressive if you really want to, but this project is trying to kind of get you to observe the world around you. So
now, the background, maybe that could be.
maybe that could
That's
be a
where your
place to let
expression
your
comes in.
art flag fly, go a little crazy, but we're actually kind of being realists today, and that are, yeah, I know,
Exciting.
a little less expressionist, a little more realist for today's project. So I have a very nice,
It's not opening.
here, let me give
Breaking
you,
news.
Breaking
my
news.
thing won't open. This is why you need a partner.
Breaking news, Donatello is,
Breaking news. She broke it.
it was like that. I was gonna say breaking news.
So, how do we use the watercolor?
What a great question. Well, first, I have a very important question for you. What accent is your watercolor today? Because watercolors have accents, as do all colors.
I'm getting.
What's your astrological sign for today? What is the accent of your astrological sign today? Perceive it from the universe.
What are you doing here? So today I'm feeling a bit of a more whiny Californian.
Ooh, I think I might go with a little bit of like a valley girl.
Paint. Make sure you use lots of water. Yeah. Because
Yeah, so you're gonna want
watercolors.
to dip your tip in a little bit of water, and you're just gonna want to go in. Don't get the watercolor too wet, and you're just gonna want to go ahead. Start with your lighter colors, because with watercolor you can always go darker, but it's really hard to like go later.
So I should start with black, right?
I don't know, silly Billy. I feel like you should go a little bit more like, like later,
Okay.
I use very, words, smart, like.
Yeah, okay, so after you finish your watercolors, we'll see you back here.
Botticelli, before we move on to the next step, do you want to show me your artwork?
We'll do it. You referenced yourself in the third person, so you
I
might
did
as well.
want to see my own artwork. Thank you very much for picking up on that.
Very
This beautiful
narcissistic.
piece of work is autumnally colored. What's the word again? Folly, I think it is.
Folly, yes, it's very
There you
folly.
go.
Mine actually came out a little more springy.
It quite did, but I kind of like it. And there's an important thing we need to do before we draw on it with pen. What is that?
Well, mine's a little wet still, so you gotta dry it. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Ew.
Sorry, I just thought I'd help you out there.
You can either use a hair dryer like this, or you can use a piece of a napkin or a paper towel, or.
Sorry, I'm like very.
No, we're not doing that again. No
I
more.
liked being a different person. It was the only thing I
Okay, we're not having any existential crisis either. We're
if
doing the next step.
no existential crisis, then let's move right on to the next step. Grab yourself a black
Sharpie,
pen.
a black pen.
And now that your piece is thoroughly dried by natural causes or by more mischievous ones, you're going to want to go in and fill in any textures, any little details that you're interested in your painting.
Watercolors, kind of hazy. Sometimes that's the vibe, but right now we want a little crisper.
We want a crisp vibe.
Crisp it up like a potato chip.
That's very, news people jargon, if you know what I mean.
Crisp it up like a potato chip?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And so after you add some details, some textures, like Donatello is doing right here, can you kind of just show us an idea?
I'm just outlining each petal, giving it a little more shape.
Or in my version, I did kind of a up close of the center of the flower to show more detail. So I'm just adding in the details in black pen. You can't really quite see it, but I'm just adding in those details because after you're done, you can erase your pencil marks.
And once you erase and have all your inked in, what do you do after that?
Well, I think you just grab some more watercolor paper, grab another one of your, pieces of nature, another one of your beautiful botanicals, if you will, and you're going to want to make another one, or however many as you like. A very fun thing that you could do. What were you about to say?
Well, I think we're on the same wavelength.
You think we're on the same wavelength?
You can dedicate a drawing to one of your loved ones or somebody you think would deserve a flower.
So if your drawing was going to go to somebody that you thought was really cool, I mean, who would you give it to?
Probably Leonardo.
Who's Leonardo?
My best friend.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Who would you give yours to?
Well, I was gonna say somebody, but now I don't really want to say.
Well, don't worry, Donatello. Botticelli. I'll give myself one too. Donatello deserves a flower, but I'll make another. I'll make another one for you, Botticelli. Don't worry. I can see you're hurt.
Oh, for your second best friend, I see how it is.
First is the worst. Second is the best.
Okay, well that is true fact.
Make sure you don't hurt your friends. Make as many as you need. Okay.
Very important. And then once you're done, sign it. With your very own name. Very, very important. So right here I have Botticelli.
Oh, she signed in watercolor.
I did. You can sign in watercolor, or like Donatello over here, you can sign in pen. It's all up to you. And then he's going to give that to somebody.
Mom, we'll see you all in the studio.
Let's go!